Hello and welcome back. So let's go ahead and start creating the add item activity. So let's first design the layout over here. So what we want to do is that the first thing which we always do is convert any layout to a linear layout. Now you could choose any layout of your own choice, but as our main focus is not on the designing part yet, so I always prefer the linear layout because it's simple to work with. So after adding the linear layout, let's quickly add in an image button, and let's say that's going to be having the layout as match parent, and the height is going to be, let's say, 300 dp. So this image button is actually a button wherein the user could click this button and he will be able to add an image for the item. So let's say you want to add pizza to your menu item. You simply need to click this button. It's going to redirect you to the gallery, and in the gallery you could select the pizza image, and that image is going to be uploaded over here. And so let's go ahead and add an on click to this as well. So that's going to be image button clicked, and after that let's assign it some ID, like let's say food image button. So once this thing is done, we are basically good to go. Now let's go ahead and add edit text for getting the name of the product which we are adding. So that's going to be match parent and wrap content. After that, let's go ahead and give it an ID. So that's going to be, let's say, item name, because this is going to be the name of the item. And let's give the user an hint so that he has to upload the food item name. So we'll type in enter food item name, and after that let's prompt the user to enter the description of the food item. So that's going to be edit text, that's going to be match parent wrap content. After that, give it an ID, and the ID is going to be @ID item DESC, which stands for description. And then finally let's specify the hint over here as well. Let's say enter item description. Okay, once this thing is done, the final thing which you need to add here is going to be the price of the item. So we'll type in edit text match parent wrap content, that's going to be ID @ID item price. And finally let's add up an hint over here which says enter item price. And finally, so that the user should be able to enter those values into the backend, we will provide a button over here which says something like let's say enter values. So this is going to be match parent, and this is going to be wrap content, and let's specify some text like let's say add to menu. So add item to menu is going to be our text here, and let's specify the final thing, which is nothing but the on click method. So let's say we have an on click for this, which is going to be called as add item button clicked. Okay, so once this thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. Now what we need to do here is that we first need to go ahead and add in the functionality to basically go ahead and get an image over here. So for that, what we will do is that we will first go to the addfood.java code, and in here what we do is that we first get a reference to each and every edit text and the buttons over here. So what we will do here is that we will go ahead and get a reference to the button first. So that's going to be private, and that's going to be an image button. Let's name this button as, let's say, food image, because that's what it's going to be. Then after that, let's go ahead and create a gallery request as well, because we do want to redirect the user to the phone's gallery. So that's going to be private static final and integer. So that's going to be GALLREQ, and let's initialize it to 1. And after that, the next thing which you do is that you also get a reference to the 3 edit text. So we'll declare edit text here as well. So private edit text, and that's going to be name, description, and the price. So once we have these 3 things, let's go ahead and initialize them over here. So name is going to be edit text find view by ID r.id that's going to be something like item name for the name, and I'm going to copy the same code and paste it for the other two as well. So that's going to be DESC over here, and it's going to be item DESC over here. This is going to be let's say the price, so that's going to be price, and it's going to be item price over here. So once this thing is done, we are almost good to go. Now the next thing which we do is that we add the functionality for this button, this button, which is food image button. So let's create a method for it. So we'll type in public void food image button, and hopefully this should be the name. Okay, it's actually image button clicked, so let me replace this with image button clicked, and I guess the L should be in small letters. Okay, so once this thing is done, we are good to go. So let me just pass in a view over here, and after that what this is going to do is that it's going to start in the gallery intent. So let's create an intent which is going to be the gallery intent. That's going to be equal to new intent and intent dot action get content. So it's going to get the content, and we will set the gallery intents type by using the set type method, and we are going to set it to image/star. So this is what we always do when you basically want to start the gallery intent and pick an image from here. So after that, we will start the activity for result and pass in gallery intent over here along with the gallery request, which is this thing over here. So that's going to be gallery request. And then final thing which we do is that in order to get the URI of that particular button, we go ahead and we create the onActivity result method. So that's going to be onActivity result, and after that the first thing which we do is that we check for the result code and the request code. So that's going to be if request code is equal to gallery request and result code is equal to result underscore OK. So if that is the case, then what we do is that we get the URI of the uploaded image. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm also going to declare the URI variable over here and initialize it to null. So that's going to be private URI that's going to be equal to null. And once this thing is done, in here what we do is that we go ahead and get the URI. So we'll type in URI equals, and we get it from here. So data is already passed over here, so we'll type in data dot get data. So once we have this URI, the next thing which you want to do is that you want to set this particular URI to the URI of the button. So even before that, you do need to get a reference to this button. So right now this button is nothing but having an ID which is food image button. So let me quickly copy this ID, go over here and get a reference to the button first. So as you could see, we already have the food image button created over here. So we will type in food image equals image button, find view by ID, r.id dot, and paste the ID over here. So now once you have a reference to the food image button, you could set its URI to this particular URI. So we will go ahead and type in food image dot set image URI, and we will set it equal to the URI which we have over here. Okay, so once everything is done, the final thing which you need to do is that you need to go to the manifest, and in here you need to use a permission, add a permission which says uses permission read external storage. So this permission is actually going to allow you, the application to read from the device's external storage. So once this thing is done, what you could do is that you could simply save the code and run this application on your device so as to check if this works. So I'm going to save the code, run the app, and show you guys the output. Okay, so as you could see, the application is up and running on my device. So let me just click this add food item, and I'm going to select, and I'm going to click the image button. I'm going to go to the gallery. I'm going to go to internal storage. Then I'll go to DCIM. Then I'll go to screenshots. And from the screenshots, I'm going to select this pizza screenshot. And when I hit OK, as you could see, now the nice looking pizza is added over here. That means we are successful in implementing the functionality to basically get the image. And now in the next lecture, what we will do is that we will go ahead and learn how to post this image into the database. So in the next lecture, we will go ahead take this pizza image and post it into the Firebase database. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.